You gotta fix your phone because
What's wrong with my phone?
dog.
Yeah, but it doesn't show up that way. I looked at the videos. They're not that bad. It just looks dark to us. But when you see the finished videos, like if you go over to the Lover and Giver page, they're fine. They're fine. They're not that dark. So, hey, everybody. Oh, there's
Daryl
Daryl Bridges.
Bridges, the
Hey, sir.
Grillzilla.
Hey, sir. We have, what is the date we have? September 9th?
September 9th.
September 9th from 12 to 4. We need to talk. We need to talk. There's Trino.
What up? Call me in about an hour and a half, Trina.
Yeah.
Call me in about an hour. But go ahead. Quit talking junk about Boaz.
Where did that come from? That came from a conversation. No, it was a post in one of the singles groups. And someone posted about, how when she's in services or when she has heard preachers or pastors make reference to Boaz, it's always about the material things. It's always about that, he was a wealthy person and he was able to, take care of Ruth and that sort of thing. And she says, when are we going to get to the character of Boaz? And she said, is this why we have so many people, waiting for their Boaz when there's all these eligible men maybe there, but they're not in that position that, they're not in the position that Boaz was. So stop making that face. You're making the craziest faces to the public. Anyway, turn this one this way. Anyway, so I was like, what are you talking about? I was really like, I was lost. I was like, what do you mean that people have been focusing on the wealth of Boaz and not his character? And, I said, the way I look at it, Boaz was this great person because he took a foreigner, and it wasn't just any foreigner. It was their enemies. Israelites and the Moabites were enemies. And he decided that he was going to take care of her. So she responded, I never knew that. I never saw it that way. And I don't mean to be funny, but I was just like, wait a minute. What's been happening in these workshops and these conferences and all these things talking about Boaz, and how could you focus on the possessions and the material and not focus on, first of all, the lineage of this guy? He's just not some guy they just plucked out of the thing. He's in the lineage of Christ, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't focus on his mindset. You just focused on his possessions. Oh, that he was a wealthy man. And I've even heard people start to bash Boaz. Oh, he was old. You don't want no old man. First of all, you better have more respect for our Bible people, because they're not dead, they're living. And when you get to heaven and Boaz walk up to you talking about, yeah, you kept calling me old, what you going to say? Stop acting like this is just some fairy tale myth stories that you feel like telling, you're, joking around with your friends. This is a real human being, okay? And now that's if you believe the Bible. And he is still living, okay? So the thing of it is, why in the world would you talk about somebody like this unless you thought it was just a bunch of joke? And maybe that's why there's nobody in the church, because you don't even take your own Bible seriously. I take those stories seriously, and I hope you do, even though I read my Bible, I think, a little bit more than you do. But it's not about that, though. What I'm trying to say is, why are we bashing this dude? It's a great love story, and it's a great story. But I've noticed that it's been made to make a lot of men feel uncomfortable, because they're not some big, wealthy landowner. And it's made women look at men maybe in a disparaging way.
But you were saying he didn't always start off like that, I believe, right?
No, he was well-to-do. He was well-to-do. But his lineage, if you go back into his lineage, he started off being, I think, the great-grandson? I got to remember my levels of Rahab, who was a prostitute. Okay, Rahab. The whole lineage started with Rahab when the Israelites were coming in, and she said, hey, look, if you take care of my family, I'll hide you. I'll make sure you can get into the town. And she said, just look after my family. And they said, we promise that if you hide us and help us, that when we come into the land, we'll take care of your family. That's where his lineage started from. So, if your great grandmother was a prostitute, trust and believe he went through some stuff. Okay? He went through some stuff. But all of these people end up being in the genealogy and the lineage of Christ. And I think I used to have some books. I don't know where they are, probably in my boxes. But there was a book series that I read on the 7 women in the lineage of Christ. And all of them had different stories. And I believe God specifically picked these people because he didn't want us to walk around putting on airs. You know what I'm saying? There's a prostitute in the line of Jesus. But out of that line came, what does he say? I can't even know.
That's my cousin Ella.
That's because God gives the knowledge he wants you to have. When the time comes, God reveals the truth. Amen. Mrs. Burris has picked your young lady's life to set her. Thank you. I hope and pray that that's what I'm doing. I hope and pray that that's what I was doing. And there were other people who chimed in. I don't want to make it that it was just me. But there were other people who chimed in about this story. But, literally the next time you see somebody, Boaz was old, he wasn't, anything, and Tony Brown, set them straight. Set them straight. This isn't some little fairy tale myth that y'all can joke about. This is a human being that was in the lineage of Christ. You up ain't in the lineage of Christ. So listen, you need to have a little bit more respect. Well, they say, put some respect on the name of Boaz. I think we're there.
Put some respect on my name. That was Baby at Cash Money talking to Charlemagne, the god of
That it's the Browns. But yeah, I got righteously indignant as if it was my family member. Like, yo, why are y'all talking about this dude?
Well, you got to understand, it's popular in a relationship, and it's popular for church people, not Christians, but it's popular for church people to talk about that concerning a relationship, especially if you know the Bible in and out. But the reality is that whether Boaz was old, whether Boaz was young, whether Boaz was blah, 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 Boaz was a human being. And from what was told, Boaz must have been a good man.
He was a good man.
Yeah, so...
He was a good man. When I hear people...
I think that's what... character is everything.
It's everything.
The way you present yourself to anybody. So if he treated that woman like she was gold, or like what he possessed, then that's all that should be talked about, not necessarily what he had.
Yes.
Or
I was shocked.
What he had materialistic. He loved that woman, and I think today's society is real sick and backwards and tore up. And it's due to social media, because people will say anything stupid.
Yeah, well, before you go there, this is stuff that she's been hearing
from the church,
from the pastors, from workshops. So it's not just social media. People are literally trying to, and I'm going to use that word, indoctrinate people with this kind of attitude about this man. And I'm like, if you really want to read the story, go to the Bible, read Ruth. There's also his lineage is told up in Jeremiah. Go and read about this person. Don't just act like, well, they created this scenario and his name happened to be Boaz. These aren't fake scenarios, examples. These are real people, biblical. We used to call them biblical characters, but I don't even want to use that word because people are so accustomed to using that word for, reality TV and sitcoms. So these are real people. And I just don't think we have the spiritual mindset of realizing that right now this person is alive. But the Bible tells us God does not see us, whether we're alive here on the planet or dead here on the planet. He sees us as always living. And so he's alive. So my thing is, really are you going to go to heaven and tell Boaz, yo, you old dude? And I had to stop. I don't want to mention names. I had to stop a pastor because he mentioned how, Boaz ain't for you. That man was old. I said, well, let me tell you something. As old as he was, he obviously was kicking it because he made some offspring that ended up being either the great grandfather of David. Okay, so obviously he wasn't that old. And God blessed him, whether he was old or not, in order to be able to have an offspring. So this is my thing. Why are we treating people like that and disparaging people instead of taking it back to a spiritual?
It's money. It's economic growth. That's what it is. It's economics.
You know, I'm
whatever
you
want to say, whatever you want to say in order to
sell
feed
something,
the people,
or sell a book, or workshop,
or sell something,
a conference.
You know, it's economic. So,
and you've got these women, unfortunately. Let's go there. We've got women who are trying to find something to keep them going, keep them, you know, in their pursuit of waiting. And you're just fleecing the flock. You're just using the people. You're just wiring up these women. Because for this to come out of a woman's mouth, that she'd never even thought about the fact that Ruth was a foreigner. Mm-hmm. How are you telling the story?
Because who's spending money in the church? Who's spending money in these places? It's women.
And if you could talk so negatively about a man, maybe that's why you ain't got no man up in your church. I mean, really.
Yeah, and that's what they do because that's the target in order to make a woman happy. If you look at it, if that man ain't doing this, if that man ain't doing that, that man ain't no good. The target, when other men are preying on women, they're targeting other men in order to make those women feel good, in order to touch those women's emotions.
Well, I'm telling you, ladies, I need y'all to get back up in your Bible and get back up in your word and allow God to, I can't halfway see my face, allow God to lead you when it comes to these stories that you have in the Bible. They're not there for you to crack jokes and to act like, you know, the man, it was no good, or, the, you know, because he was wealthy, that's, you know, I'm waiting on my Boaz. You're waiting on the internal character of a person like Boaz, who, one, would take a foreigner, two, not only just any foreigner, but an enemy. Moabites and Israelites were enemies, okay? They weren't getting along. And so when Naomi comes back with Ruth, they are poverty-stricken, okay? So she was poor, an enemy of the state, and she's out there gleaning in a corner, okay? Which means you're sitting in the corner pulling up whatever's left after they come through the field, okay? So the first thing you see about this man is he notices her and he tells them, do not bother her. Now, why does he got to tell her that? Mm-hmm. She's a foreign enemy. She could have been raped. She could have been beaten up. She could have been abused. And he says, do not bother her, and then leave some for her to be able to get. So she's not just getting the crumbs. She's actually getting some pieces of wheat. So he shows kindness to somebody that was a bitter enemy of the country.
So Katie andEz, what if you don't get a Boaz?
We're talking about the behavior. So you're looking for a kind person. I don't think you should settle for somebody who hasn't a heart of kindness, a heart of generosity. And you don't have to be wealthy to be generous. Mm-mm. No, you don't have to be wealthy to be generous. You know, a kind person who is going to be looking out maybe for somebody less fortunate than themselves, because that's what Boaz did. He looked after someone who was less fortunate. And I can't read what the other person.
That's my cousin Ella Hines. You ain't met her yet. That's my granddaddy's niece. Mm-hmm. But she's in Maryland, D.C., okay. Maryland.
Post on Facebook
DMV
this week regarding the same conversation. Okay. I'm going to be me. God knows my heart. Don't base your life on the people. She wrote a little bit more.
Yeah, she ain't playing. She been single a long time. So
thank you. Know him for yourself. You know, she was able to see his behavior, went home and told the mother-in-law, well, you know, this dude looked out for me. She could have just talked about, well, he looked like he was wealthy. He was riding a horse and he got on good clothes. She didn't say any of that. She talked about that, hey, you know, I don't know who he was, but he made sure that nobody bothered me. He looked after me, and he made sure that we got a little extra here. And Naomi, who, you know, that's her hometown, she's like, oh, I know exactly who that is. I know exactly who that is.
Well, ladies, the reality is, and this is the reality I'm going to talk to you. You know, I got my cousin on here. I got a lot of people on here, men's too,
I'm
right?
glad the men's on.
Antonio on here. But listen, people, okay? If a man treats you right and a man loves you, take it for that, regardless of how much he has, right? What are you doing? What are you doing? See, you always do that.
Hold on.
You always do that. This is unedited. You got people, Shahanda coming in. Women have
to realize they have to bring something to the table as well. Thank you. They do. They want a Boaz, but they have to know how to be a helpmate as well.
Well, it depends on. This is how I feel. I'm very sensitive to this subject of bringing something to the table. This is how I feel. Okay. There's salt. There's pepper. There's silverware. There's hot sauce. There's tablecloths. You know.
Where are you going?
I don't really know. I used to get deep, but now I'm like, where am I getting? But this is the point. Regardless of whether she's bringing something to the table, she's bringing what she can to the table. So if y'all are able to work that out to where, you know, both of y'all are bringing something to the table, even if it's a bag of Doritos, get full off of the bag of Doritos. If you got to share a bag of Doritos or 2 or 3 bags of Doritos to make it a 4-course meal until God comes up, do it. Everybody don't have to have money. Everybody don't have to have a good God Almighty.
I know we're getting busy, but listen,
that's what you get about that Boaz thing.
No, she says your prayer life. It could be that you're. We're talking about internal things bringing to the table.
Yeah, bring your internals to the table.
Internal behavior, internal fruits of the Spirit. You know, y'all gonna make me look up all the fruits and gifts of the Spirit, because
just feel free to be naked and say, "This is all."
How did we get onto nakedness?
No, because I'm saying bring yourself, and this is all I have to bring to the table. And somebody is willing to work with you. Don't just look at money for anything. If you looked at for money for me, what would we be right now?
Well, that's what we're talking about. She's saying, you bring your prayer life, bring these different things. And
amen, because my wife prays for me every morning.
You know, oh goodness. God is clearing the things out of the way.
I think y'all in the same area too, Ella, because Shahanda's in D.C. Y'all need to connect. She's in D.C.
Right, and she's saying a man may not know how to tithe, and you can show him how to have that faith. The thing of it is that here we have just 2 people in the Bible. Turn it that way. There you go. 2 people in the Bible that came together that ended up being so important that they're part of who creates Jesus. And I don't want them disparaged anymore. I'm sick of it. I'm sort of like, look, learn to understand what you were getting from that story is the kindness, the protection, the generosity of this man. And it doesn't have to be a wealthy man to be generous.
Jesus.
It doesn't have to be. You know, protection doesn't have a dollar sign on it. Okay? Kindness doesn't have a dollar sign on it. So literally, we have to dig deeper than this. And the fact to me that people are telling me that Boaz just has become the symbol of, well, the wealthy, accomplished man who can take care of you and you never have to work another day of your life. That's the last thing you should be thinking about. That's why you're all tied up with the old 50 Shades of Grey. Somebody beat you half senseless, but he's rich, so it's okay. The point of the matter is you're looking for internal character traits. You're looking for things that are going to help you have a long-term relationship. Okay, and I had to look up my little gifts of the Spirit, but fruits of the Spirit, excuse me.
Boaz raising Santa.
Because they use him like I don't know what.
Good God Almighty.
They talk about that man. There's T-shirts running around with the man's name all over. I'm waiting on my Boaz. There's books. Like you said, it has become a money game. to mention his name, to talk about him.
I see, jeez.
But the point of the matter is we are losing the focus of what this is. Never mind that how many of you out there, women, if a man says, I'm willing to donate all my money to your family and I don't get any of it, have you heard a man say that lately? This is how deep this man is. He raises up children for another man's name. Part of being the kinsman redeemer was that because Ruth's husband died, the near kinsman marries her. But what does he do? They don't get his last name. They go into the lineage of who her husband was. Now remember, when Boaz goes to meet the person that is actually in one step ahead of him, and he says, oh, what does he mention first? He talks about land. He says, there's this big old piece of land. Naomi came back, and there's a big old piece of land, and the person's eyes go cha-ching, and they're like, oh, yeah, I'll take the land. And then he says, but you know what? You also have to take the wife. And you have to take the wife and raise up children for the dead husband's name. We don't even know who that person's name is. They disappeared so fast in the Bible. One point the Holy Spirit showed me that. You don't even know who that person is. He disappeared so fast. He was like meet gone, road runner. Okay? He disappeared so fast because what he was looking at was what? He was looking at the material. I can get a piece of land. That'll be great for me. But the fact that the land wouldn't belong to the rest of his family, that it would raise up the family name of the dead person, he was gone. We don't even know what he's called. So you see Boaz taking care of business too. You see him getting ready to say, hey, look, this is a role I want to step into. I'm prepared to not have a child with my last name so I can raise up children for this woman's dead husband. I'm prepared to be that near kinsman and walking in that role. And I believe there's a whole lot of men willing to do things like that, willing to give their name to another child, willing to take on a child that's not belonging, that didn't come out of their loins, as you can say.
Penis.
Yeah, you could, there are men out here. But my thing
sperm.
is, okay, so from that sperm.
Sperm. Just say sperm nut.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Orgasm.
You also didn't even read what people are saying, mister. I'm going to suddenly talk about everything else. But I'm just saying, we've got to get back to the spiritual nature of this story.
Kagan talking about Noah and everything up in there.
Okay, you can make
You
me
done
read.
started
Where
something.
the doggone glasses? Where am I? Okay,
You done started something up in
I
here.
found my glasses, people. So.
God, I need to be a Boaz. They having so much conversation.
When I said, what if God gives you a Noah or a Moses, someone who you have to help do some things? I don't think everyone is going to be the full Boaz package. God's going to give you what you need for you, okay? And I think this is where we have to stop labeling. I don't even know what a Noah package might look like. What's a Noah package?
Oh, no, you know Noah.
And what's a Moses package? I think what we need to just say is, Lord, give the person that's for me. The old people said there's a lid for every pot. Okay, figure out where's
Find
my
the
pot.
lid or get some aluminum foil or something. I mean,
You would say that.
you can get
It's
some aluminum foil or some plastic or something.
The heart of Boaz.
Hold on now, we
is
need to
what
talk
women-
about the pot now.
Wait,
'Cause
I'm
you
trying to
may-
read what people are saying. Move your finger. And I'm trying to like
Sandra,
everything.
what's she saying?
She's saying, the heart of Boaz is what women should search for, yes. And not the bank account, not the physical, not the material wealth. Remember the dude that was the nearer kinsman, as soon as he heard about the responsibilities, he was fine to take the land, but he did not want the responsibilities. Okay, keep on running. We don't need you. We need the person who's willing to say, hey, I want the responsibilities. And again, we've already said, you don't have to be wealthy to be a generous soul. You don't have to be wealthy to be kind. Listen, I pulled up my doggone fruits of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness,
You talking about
faithfulness,
Corinthians?
gentleness, and self-control.
I don't have
Honey,
that.
you
though.
can't buy nobody's self-control. You just can't buy it.
I don't have
That thing is either
self-control.
something you got. Yes, you do.
No, I
Either you
don't,
do or
'cause I
you
wanna
don't.
tell you
You know
right
what?
now.
I'm your wife. You're
This
supposed to be
serious,
tearing
though.
me up.
This serious though. We talking to the singles. Singles, do you want to see me tear my wife up?
No, nobody wants to see or hear
Okay,
about
go
that.
ahead, go ahead. You're talking about Boaz.
But I'm just saying that we do have to get off of this. If somebody, and I don't care who it is, because you know what? If I hear a pastor, he's going to get a little letter from Judith Elise Brown. You hear somebody talking about this nonsense, you need to address it. You need to address it. I like I said, there was a pastor who said something about him being old, and I addressed it right there on the Facebook Live. He may have been old, but he kicked off a couple of kids before I said he kicked it with Ruth before he kicked off. We need to stop this nonsense. We need to stop it. Now, to answer the question about if it's a person you need to help. Because if you're really praying for the person right for you, it's fitted. The help you can give is the help that person is going to need.
But you got to understand, I know it's hard. It's very hard being single, especially when you're a woman.
It's very hard.
It's very hard. But we're going to get into that because, I was single and I know it was hard for me, but I found other ways in order to kill that distraction. I just kept busy. I kept Single Saved and Serious going, having meetings and stuff like that, or blah, blah, blah. And this woman came out of nowhere and, wouldn't let go. So, you just got to stay prayed up. And sometimes we as people, we pray for things and God gives us those things that we ask for, but it's not always what you want, but it's what God feels that's in need.
Chandra is talking about that. She said there's some women out there who have set themselves up looking for this specific list of Boaz things, not the internal stuff, but probably the outside.
Yeah,
and they have been
looking
disappointed.
at reality TV and all these rappers. Hold on, you're looking at these rappers and even R&B singers have turned into rappers. When Chris Brown was a pop singer, growing up, when he used to dance all over the stage and sing pop songs, and now he a thug. So, you got all these radio stations playing 5 or 6 to 10 times a day, all of this garbage, and the spirits feed into them. So, of course, of course, when you look at it, like I said, economics. When all you hear about and surrounding, you hear economic things, that's all you expect. Even in the church, when they talk about growth and stuff like that, when they talk about God's going to bless you, in your mind, the way they preach it, you're thinking economically. You're not thinking about
land,
spiritual.
New position.
You're not thinking
increase,
about
payroll increase. I'm just going on as you're talking.
No, because you're cutting me off like usual. You're thinking, all of these economic things that God may not have in mind for you. So you keep fighting about economic. You keep praying and praying and praying for the wrong things, and God already told you no, but you fighting it. I want a man that got his car, got his house together, on his own, got a good job, and all of that. And God saying, no, you got that man right in front of you that you're going to work up to, you're going to step up with, and the next thing you know, what you do, you deny him.
Yeah, I mean, and I think it's a good thing. She says, I stopped praying for it. The thing of it is start praying for the person fitted for you.
Yeah, start praying
for you to be fitted for the person that he brings.
And when God gives it to you,
amen,
try it. Don't deny it. Because he's going to give you something that you don't want. Okay. But listen. But, like with me and her, I was praying, of course, out of frustration for the wrong person. I was praying for the wrong person, right? I was praying for somebody who left, and I kept praying for that person who left me behind, left me for dead, and God kept saying no. God was listening, but he kept saying no, and in time, what did he do? He brought Judy,
You good?
It,
Amen.
yeah. But he paid, he brought Judy. And at first I was in denial, you know, trying to wait on this woman who didn't care or anything like that, trying to wait on so much. And what did he do? No, this is your woman. Stick with this woman, be with this woman. And in time, I had to learn that this was my woman, and that's why I married the woman. Now, how did I get rewarded? I got rewarded by somebody
Oh, goodness.
who loved me more than and saw more in me than I saw within myself. You know, saw more of what do women like to say, potential. Well, she saw greatness over potential.
We're going to talk about that too, I guess. The thing of it is that what we've become, we've learned now to call potential is our fantasy of what the person might be. Because half the time when I hear people talking about potential, I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I don't see what you see. What are you seeing? And I don't care. It has turned out a couple of times with my friends that it is the fantasy of this person may be able to do this for me. It is not based on anything reality. Potential should be based in reality. This person should be working towards something. This person should be, passionate about something. I don't want to hear anybody talk to me, well, he got potential. And all I see him do is sit down and play video games and talk about, well, I know I could do this if I just got the chance. I could do this and I could do that. That's not potential, ladies. That is a talker.
And it's not about, because I was in the same woman who dropped me, and I'm put. This is just for an example. I'm using this woman as an example. Okay, the same woman who dropped me said that I had potential, but I wasn't doing anything. Well, maybe you wanted me to go to college and you wanted me to get a degree and change janitorial positions. While you working at Goodwill now, I'm sorry, just using Goodwill industry. I had to put the plug in. But anyway, Keitha, but you wanted me to basically, go to college, go back to college, finish, get a degree, work in corporate America, but that wasn't me. So at the end of it, you got to accept that person for where they are.
Well, you just proved exactly what I said. So the potential and the way it was supposed to come was in her head. It wasn't a mutual conversation and a mutual agreement of, yes, I've always wanted to go back to college. I do want to change. That's not potential that you plan out and want to, and I'm going to use the word, control that person. That's not potential. That you see, in my mind, I see you going back to school, and I see you doing this, and I see you doing
trying to fix the man up.
And I'm like, yeah, that's that project.
But really, the reality, you're using somebody as a project, but the reality is maybe God has him at that point in your life to where he's seeing things within you and you're seeing things within them. So you have to work with that person where they are in life. If that person is a janitor like me, maybe he wasn't meant to go back to school. Maybe he wasn't meant to do the things that you saw in mind. Maybe he was meant to do the things that God saw in mind and had you in his life for a reason. And I think I think a lot of women, and I hear men say this, you don't want to work with men where they are in life. And, and where they are in life right then, whether that man is a cook at McDonald's, whether that man is working at Walmart, whether that man just got out of jail and getting his life together and working somewhere, wherever that man is, you have to learn to work with that man, because maybe God has sent you in his life to work with him and take him a step up.
Well, you know what? Can I add in
Did that
something?
make any sense?
You made perfect sense.
Okay.
But there's other ways. It's not always about a financial step up. It's also sometimes that
Spiritual.
it's
It could be
spiritual, it's
spiritual.
emotional. But even if you meet the man and he's a CPA, and then you get kind of bored with the fact that tax time comes and he's going to be busy and he can't be available. Well, you knew that he's a CPA. You know there's a certain time of year when it's just downright crazy for the person, but you want somehow for him to be able to change. And this
And that's what they prayed for. So God gave it
so
to
God
you.
gave it to you. Because my brother one time told me of a family, and she had been married to the CPA, and she was bored, and she was just like, eh. But what did you expect for that man to do? Yeah, the dating was fun. He took some time, and he took you here and there. But he's a CPA. He's busy. And so, they ended up getting a divorce. Now, was it that she's not capable of love and he didn't love her? But what her expectations were of this person, she wasn't even being true to herself. And this is one thing I will say. I appreciate the emphasis on us knowing ourselves, understanding ourselves before we start to get into relationships, because as multitaskers, as women, we can get all into focus on others, and we need to really understand what it is we want before we go into here and say, well, you know what, I think if you just did this, what's the point? If he just did that, maybe he'd be somebody else. And I'm not saying, now, the thing is, did you ask him, what do you want to be? I tell people, I never ask people, what do you do? I never ask that on a date. I always ask, what do you want to do?
Lord,
where do
have
you
mercy.
want to
Where
go?
do you want to go?
Where do you want to go?
But you know, a lot of people, like, I used to be on the websites, and, what they'll say is, what do you do for a living? And if I told them I was a janitor, they'd cut me off in a heartbeat. But I do it, like, I love doing it, because when the first reaction that they have, if they cut you loose and you're a janitor now, you don't know whether I own my own janitorial business. You don't know whether I'm making, $50,000 a year being a janitor. The only thing you heard was janitor, and you cut it off. So I loved using that, as far as just to see where that person's mindset is.
Go
as far as that, there was a woman in high school, and she's here. She's in Miami now. She's a Facebook friend. I don't see her married or anything, but that was over 10 years ago. See her alone when she posts pictures. But, and stuff like that, always with her parents. But I went to her house. Now, we went to the prom together. I'm going to try to cut the long story short. But when I was about in 11th, 12th grade, I really had a crush on this woman, and I tried to be involved with this girl. She was about a grade or two under me, and I was trying to be involved, and, I wanted to date her, and I kept trying to talk to her, and I kept calling her, and I was like, I'm tired of calling or whatever. So she was like, I don't know what you want from me. Me talking to somebody every day, that would be a headache. So I quit calling her. I basically quit calling her. And so, but a few months later, the girl had the nerve to call me and ask me to go to the prom, right? So, I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, and, I said, yeah, I talked to a couple of people, and I said, yeah. So I went to go get a haircut that day, and I was going to back off. I wasn't even going to go, and the boys told me to go ahead and go to the prom, so I went to the prom. So then, after that, had hardly talked to her about a year, and then I, went off to college. I went off to Lewisburg. Sharonda relates to that. I went to Lewisburg. I came home for Christmas. She was home because she went to a college. the Rams in the house, but anyway, just wanted to get a Rams a shout out Winston-Salem.
Go ahead.
But anyway, I went off to college and came back and tried to talk to her again, and she said it wouldn't work. So left Lou U. And I admit I lied a little bit, telling her about college. I was doing so good in college and stuff like that, and got a degree or something. And
you lied that much? Okay.
And the next thing I was trying to get with her, and I became a janitor, and she told me that because I went over, I think I was through playing basketball. I was about to play basketball or something. And her and I went over there and talked to him a little bit. And then she called me out of the blue with, "This is why I quit calling you, because you came to my house dirty." And I'm like, "I just got through playing basketball. I think I'd be that way." So went to work or something. I was planning on playing basketball. So, and then she was like, you want my mama to tell you how dirty you was when you came over here? I'm like, oh. But anyway, so she told me another reason is because I went to college and I became a janitor.
You're going to have to sit up.
So that's why she didn't want to date me at that time, because I was a janitor.
Sit up, dear.
So I think, as far as women, and I use me as an example, of course.
I'd like to see my face there, too.
I don't have to. You can put everything on you, Judy. I don't have to, because these women are talking to you. They ain't paying me no attention.
Everybody
I don't hear no amen.
Listening to you tell the story, and I finish
Yeah,
up.
but this is the point, people. Okay? Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. I was married.
But I mean, there's a lot of people who are going to make that error. They're like, oh, you're not tall enough, and you're not light skinned, and you ain't got long hair down your back. And, I'm sure these women can tell you all the reasons, and they will all probably surface why they were rejected at one point or another. We've all been through that. I think what we're trying to focus on is that let's get off of this surface stuff, because surface can change. And I'm not getting into preference. I understand everybody has preferences. That's different. But when they become written in stone to the point where you are miserable and bitter, there's a problem.
But can I say this?
Sure.
You can't get mad when if you have preference towards others, you can't get mad when somebody has preference towards you. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, that does, and a lot of people don't see it that way, but I understand
you have to see if you prefer this and that. Let's say you were in the same position and you were wanting to talk to somebody and you were willing to do anything in the world in order to be with that person, but that person preferred somebody else. You can't get mad when God brought you somebody, right? God allowed somebody to be in your life that maybe you wasn't expecting to be in your life. Maybe the man was too short. Maybe the man was too what?
I don't know.
Too fat. Let's just say maybe the man was too big. He can lose weight. He might not grow any taller, but hell, you can get him some type of what them clowns be doing.
Let me tell you something. It really won't matter. It really won't matter when you hit about 35 years like my mama did, who was actually taller than my dad. Okay? It really won't matter. I wanted to get to what Ella said. Ella's talking about that she spent time taking care of herself and how, taking care of herself is so important. And Ella, it's so funny that we have women today trying to take care of themselves. And so I'm realizing how many young ladies from the time they were young were not given this confidence to go for themselves. Every time a man came into my life, I had to look up because Judy was busy. I was busy doing things. I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't go out to the club. There was only 1 year in my life back in New York, I went out to the club every single weekend. And I had no intention that I thought I was going to find anybody there, and I didn't. But, that was just for me to hang out with the girls and the other guys that I knew, and we have some fun. But when anybody ever came into my life, I was busy. This idea that I should be sitting at home, this is why we do the Christian Lounge experience. This is why we get involved in the community. We want people to come out of their house. You got to get out.
No,
You should be
we
pursuing, your own business, or, the ladder that God has laid on your heart to do. You should not be sitting around there doing nothing.
Or if you only have, you have no options, and so you only go to the club to listen to stuff you really don't like listening to. These DJs out here, if you would, where are my real bees at? Like, can I say it? Can I say it?
Don't.
Where are my real B's at? Where are my real H's at?
And wish somebody would.
You 40 years old. You 40 to 45 years old. If you got more than $10 in your pocket, wave your hands in the air. God ain't for that. When did God say? God says you're important regardless of what you have.
And if anything, the story of Ruth shows that.
And that's the story of Ruth shows
that. Yeah. She's poverty stricken. They're living in a cave, gleaning from a farm, that the edges of a farm, so that they can have something to eat every day.
I'm on Facebook Live, Judy, and I'm looking at this stuff, like I'm looking Facebook Live at the DJs who cursing and saying if you got $5 in your pocket, wave your hands in the air, and the women just screaming. Now they over 40 years old, and they just screaming and hollering. Where are my independent ladies at? The DJs love saying, where are my independent ladies at? And it's like, when do you get tired? You know what I'm saying? When you 40 years old or older, even if you're 30 and older, when do you get mature and tired, and you coming home to something? You either coming home alone, or you coming home to something and you waking up to something that ain't even marriage material. You know what I'm saying? So, of course you're going to build a Christian Lounge experience where you can go hear the gospel, you can come hear somebody who loves you, and you can party within God.
Yep. And if you have a date, you can bring the date, and it'll be a good environment.
You know what?
But we didn't mean to get on that. But I'm just saying, the point that she was making was that she was busy. She got her own. First, her prayer life was about, bring me the man that hold all these things, not realizing that God for her was, I need you to go get all of that stuff. And I've had to tell this to a friend before, because I have a very good friend who thinks that, I need the man, and then I can grow. And God has shown her over these past almost, how long have I known her? 15 years at least, that he was growing her. It wasn't about the man. It wasn't about the man showing up first. It was about her growing. And even now, her mindset and her ideas of a man and what she needs has changed. But in the beginning, it was like, if I could just find someone and I can cling to him and I can just... And God was like, that's not what I've imparted in you. I've put something in you that I need to grow first. I need to, and she unfortunately went through 2 marriages, and of all things, both of them passed away. And she's still growing. She's still not coming into who she's supposed to be. And I believe that nothing is wasted. I believe even our failures are important to us, because of all things, sometimes our failures teach us more than our successes. But the goal is that we've got to stop looking at these outer things as if they're really going to satisfy us emotionally and spiritually. And we need to start looking at character.
Because if you pray for the outer things, you'll get it.
Yeah,
but it might not be what you want.
What you want and how you want to get it.
Yeah, and how you want to get it. Exactly.
Thank you.
It might not be. God may say you asked for it. That's what you wanted.
And you picked up anybody just because they had those things.
You got to be careful of what you pray for.
This is for men and women, because men, don't think you're off the hook here. Sometimes your eyes are looking at form, shape.
The big button to smile.
And you know.
She got a fatty for daddy, don't she?
And she can flirt, and maybe she can talk sexually over the phone and get you so excited. Yeah, we went there.
Oh, yeah, you'll get it.
Okay, and then you go and I never forgot, I had a friend who married the hottie, okay? He married that hottie.
I want a hottie.
And they were not together more within like a year. year or two. And he actually won custody of their son because she was a hottie, all right.
But you know what?
But I mean, I was like, really, and he was a good guy. He was a really good guy.
But
And
you
I was
wanted
like,
the
but
wrong thing,
you
looking
went
for the
on
wrong
that
thing.
looks, and here she is a mother, but she still got the Daisy Dukes on and the silver lipstick. Oh, she was hot, all right. But
Yeah.
you had to go and get your son because she was not able
Ready.
to raise.
She wasn't
even ready to raise a child, much less to be, all of a sudden now you're boring because we're not hitting the streets and you used to be so much fun, but now you just as boring as you can be. And he was miserable. Do I tell you miserable?
Men.
Miserable.
Hold on. Would you tell me
Sorry.
what your thoughts are on
the 80-20 rule? You know what that is?
80-20%?
Right. You try to get
Give 80.
80%.
You try to give 80% and
You give
expect
80%.
20.
Well, you know what? I'm trying to remember exactly what it's about.
Well, explain that, Maria.
Well, she can explain it probably better than I can. But the thing of what I'm saying is,
I guess 80%, you give 80% and only get 20 back.
no, she's saying that you try to get 80%, and that's what you're trying to get. And there's always going to be like a 20% where you may not get that part. But
let me tell you something. Regardless of what percentage it is, give 100% until you just give 100%.
Give 100% and realize that we're talking about spiritual things. Spiritual things change natural things. And so if there's some 20% that's not perfect, or there's some 20% that's, I don't like the word perfect, that's not really, that's difficult, keep praying about that. Because Lord knows I've been praying about, some things and they're beginning to change. And it's not because they were essential. I just wanted them to change. But see, we have a God that we can take everything to. What? Oh, I see what she's talking about.
What?
The 80 men to the 20 women.
Well, date somebody outside of your race. Olympia D wrote something. I don't know whether she was trying to get promo on a radio station on 105.3 so people can listen in on the conversation.
Go ahead.
On the conversation. But it's like she was asking what are people's thoughts on women dating outside of their race? Why is it so complicated to date out? And I say something in that nature. And I was telling her because women listen to a lot of their friends,
Go ahead.
Listening to a lot of their friends' opinions or their family members' opinions, and their family just as miserable as they might be, or their friends just as miserable as they might be. So find somebody outside of your race. Date you. It's okay. What do you mean? Date outside who? Well, date outside of your race. Date. It's okay to date outside of your race if you feel that if God sends you somebody, a white man, a Puerto Rican man, or whatever, then try it. Whatever God has for you is for you. Okay? So don't worry about the 80-20%, because God, if you want something...
She's trying to type something, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll wait for you.
But I'm saying, if God wants you to have that, He will place it in your life. Don't worry about the statistics, because just because it's statistics, just because you see 20 to 1 man in the club, don't mean it's 20 to 1 man. Maybe those other 19 just don't want to go to the club, ain't in the club. So there's somebody for you if you ask for it. That's how I feel about the 80-20. Those are percentages, and half of the time those percentages are just paper or something on a computer or something like that. That don't necessarily mean that it's true just because of stats. Hell, I'm 6'1.5", and statistically I'm 6 foot, but I'm 6'1.5". But statistics would tell you. I don't know what I mean. I thought it made sense. I thought it don't make no sense.
Not really. Not that way. I thought you were going somewhere with that. But anyway, the point that you are trying to make is it's all right to acknowledge that there's a statistic, or there's this, oh, half of our men are locked up, or they're on the DL. It's okay. But if that begins to change your mind, if that begins to change your mindset to what you think God can do.
Good one. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You gotta do what?
I got a good one. I got a good one.
Okay, you got a good
First
one.
First of all,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had to get this out.
Go ahead.
First of all, quit running around. Single women, quit running around with somebody who could be potential to be your husband, but he's switching just as hard as you. You know what I'm saying? He's switching just as hard as you and holding a pocketbook just like you. You need to smack him in his head and say, boy, you become a man. You supposed to be my husband. You ain't sitting, you're searching for another man to find another man when you trying to find a man. Does that make any sense to you?
I guess so. Was that the big thing you wanted to say?
Yeah, the gay man could become the straight man.
Can I get back to
smack the gay man? Go ahead. But I'm just saying, they hang around with these gay men, they switching and holding their butts and all types of stuff. Ooh, I want that man. Ooh, he's just so fine. That's why you're single.
You know what?
But go ahead.
What I was saying was, don't allow statistics to blind you to a life of faith. Okay, faith is not about a statistic. We all have what we would like in a mate. Yes, that's true. We will not get 100%. That's true. We will get about 80% of what we want. And you need, what does it say? You need in a mate. I hope that makes sense. Yes, that's true. You're going to look for that. Okay. I'm just reading everybody. I'm sorry for all that pausing. But don't allow statistics. We're going to finish that up, and then we're going to get to what she really said. Don't allow statistics to blind you to what faith is. Okay, I had to have faith that a woman my age, okay, dealing with what I've already dealt with, which is disabling conditions, limited income, raised 2 children with autism, would be able to find someone that wanted to be in my life. I know what I had. Now, this, I will tell you, I'm a very confident person. I knew what I had, but I also knew that there were some things that would, for some people, would not make me a good match. Because, if you climb mountains, I can't climb mountains. So, I already knew that. But I had enough belief in God that there would be somebody for me who would be able to understand my limitations, who would be able to deal with what I dealt with, and that we could still grow together. I didn't believe, well, we're just going to sit here and rock on the porch like 2 old folk. No, I still had a very vibrant mind.
Confident.
I was confident, not only in what who I had become, because we talked about that first. You need to know who you are. But I was also confident in the God I serve. I was like, look, you can do this. You said, can I make these dry bones live? And I was like, look, if you can take some dry bones that have been laying in the mountainside for the longest amount of time, put some sinews and flesh and everything, and they become human beings, I know you can bring me a man. And I had to walk in that confidence. It was not always easy. It was not. But I had to limit things that took away my faith. And can I tell you one of the biggest things I eliminated? You know what that is. Girls' night out. Girls' night out made me so depressed and miserable because usually I had a bunch of friends that sat around and got drunk and talked about all the men that they didn't get to keep, that didn't work out, that were bums, that were, oh my God, oh, I'm almost there. I'm there already, so come on up in your zone because I'm already here.
If I don't cut you off, go ahead.
No, but I'm just telling her.
No, because this is
I had to get rid of some things that were taking away from my belief and faith that God would give me what I wanted. And Girls Night Out was one. The movie scene, I didn't go to because I was like, look, that's the last thing I need to see right now. I had to stay very dedicated to, I believe God was going to bless me.
Yeah, Girls Night Out. But what about the girls who got Girls Night Out that are involved with somebody and want to do Girls Night Out with the girls who want to do Girls Night Out? And they end up just like the girls on the Girls Night Out.
Yeah.
stop, just like she said, cut the girls' night out, period.
Well, just cut them out if they're going to sit there and be negative Nellies and Debbie Downers.
Cut them out, period.
And get around some women who are like, yo,
No,
this is going to happen.
cut the girls' night out,
Get around some
period.
women who are going to be like, this is going to happen for me. I'm telling you it's going to happen for me. I'm not going to sit here and talk negativity into the... We'll talk that stuff about our jobs. We'll say, oh, don't put that in the atmosphere about your job. Talk positivity, affirmations.
She loves girls' night out. Maria loves girls' night out.
That's okay. Well,
and you're out there with 10 girls and that one man is sitting there looking at you the whole time, and he don't know who to talk to because it's 10 girls. So he comes
20
up
pair of
and
eyes,
talk to
20
you.
eyes going
20 eyes talking to you. So then next thing you know, he comes up and talks to you, and your best friend has to cut you off because her lonely butt feels lonely. That ain't nobody giving her no attention. So she's going out when you getting all the attention. Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens. I used to go off on them.
But I'm just saying that get around some people.
I used to try to make them
There's
feel
nothing wrong
bad.
if you got some positive girlfriends who are talking about, oh yeah, we all gonna get married. We all gonna get somebody. We gonna find some things to do.
Some of them so bitter they don't want to get married.
And see, that's the
you
thing.
can get mad at me all you
people.
want to. Ain't nobody I'm trying to impress. My cousin is on here. Everything. Some of them bitter. Some of them miserable. Some of them, can't find a man even if a man found them. So you got to deal with all of these.
Well, I'm just
go
saying,
out by yourself. Go out alone.
Thank you. I used to do that too.
Go out alone. If you want to hit a DJ, say if anybody got more than $10 in their pocket, a woman, throw your hands in the air. This be this be that. Where my live bees at, where the H is at, and all types of stuff like that, and the host just yelling and screaming and all of that stuff, and they making money doing that, then go ahead and do it. But that's your loss.
Listen, Maria and Chandra are just saying they believe in it, and yes.
Take your butt
but
up.
Make sure
no, don't kiss their butt.
I'm not kissing butt. I'm telling them what I would do.
Don't kiss their butt. Go
if
ahead.
you're going to be around them Debbie Downers, the negative Nellies, I like what she said. I'm very strategic with my girls' night out. You have to be. Because, look, if you were trying to get a job, but you hung out with people who don't work, don't want to work, or you wanted to try a business, would you hang out with people who would tell you over and over again it ain't going to happen? So why in the world with your relationships are you going to sit around people talking about all the negative things that did or did not happen? So yes, be strategic. And I'm serious. People might think I'm a little harsh, but I cut that nonsense off.
You ain't harsh. You making them feel good about girls' night out.
I had an intention.
I'm telling you.
I had a serious intention. I was tired of being by myself. I was dating intentionally. If there was a guy and you weren't serious, off you went. You can be friend zoned forever. Hey, I'll send you a Christmas card, but I'm not spending a great deal of time on you. I was serious about this thing. Because, but I want to get back to Maria asked way back up in here about that you're going to get 80% of the person you like, of the things that you like. And there's like 20% that you may not like. True. Right. I think it is. But that's where the prayer life comes in. I mean, I'm going to be funny for a second. That's where the late night anointing all in the middle of sleep. Jesus in the name of it. Listen, there are some things that, as long as you keep that communication open, you keep it going. We talk about things that we don't get along on we talk about that all the time. Oh my gosh.
Oh, well, that's true.
No, we talk about the things that, about if you don't have something about me that you're not particularly fond of. You hate sometimes because you think I'm critical. And I'm just making a comment. And he's like, she's just so doggone critical, running her mouth, saying all this negative stuff. And I'm just observing.
She'd be a great commentator.
She says, what if you were just a serial dater? You haven't found anyone who clicks. Keep on dating. Listen, I want everybody to stop feeling so self-conscious. If you haven't found the right person, keep going. Tell them top of 2015.
It depends. Wait.
Okay.
If you picky, because they done heard that story. Top of 2015.
I don't know if she heard it, but I'm just saying.
Go ahead and go.
I'm just saying
ahead.
there was 10 different dudes who was like, "Hey, Judy,
you
so
ain't tell
cute.
me that.
Blah blah blah." I had a spreadsheet, honey. I had to keep track of them
Well, we
brothers.
need
I
to
was
have
like,
their
Lord have
names.
mercy.
They on Facebook.
But the thing of it is it was
They
some
on
of them
Facebook?
are, some
Okay,
of them, and
hold on.
some of them made dates, and some of them didn't
Andrew,
even get to the point. Will you get
can I
back
get a
over
pen
here?
and paper, please?
Can you get back over here?
Okay.
They didn't even make it to dates. You think that deterred me? I had a mission. I was like, look, check, checkmate, move over. Next, step down.
What's the names?
You think I can remember right now? But I mean, the thing of it is that don't feel bad about that. It's not that. I mean, yes, he's bringing up a point. If you're picky, but you know, and if anything, keep going to the God and the Holy Spirit. God, am I picky?
If the man ain't got no teeth, give him some dentures. Okay? If the man ain't got
Maria
no
says
teeth.
she likes going out by herself. Good. I did that same too. I took myself out to dinner for my birthday one time. I didn't even read up to that.
Hold on.
I've
Let me correct my answer. I also enjoy going out by myself.
Yes,
we
that's
saw
good.
that. Good.
She
Stay
said
out
we
by
all are so
yourself.
funny. I have someone who loves me, and I love him, but he won't make a move.
Well, I'll
So
tell
we
you
are
what.
friend
Give me his
zoned.
number. Give me his no. Listen, I don't know how it is in Maryland, but what you got to do is take him to the courthouse, right? Fill out the application. No, fill out the application, right? To get a marriage certificate. Call a preacher. Call a preacher. You can tell him we going out to dinner. You can take him out to dinner first, then go to the courthouse. You know, call a preacher and tell him you're marrying me right now. Get the hell out of my life. That's all you got to say. If you get the hell out of my life, or you're marrying me right now. You're marrying me right now.
He gives me gifts, sends me songs,
and tell
but
him
he
I'm gonna give him
say,
a gift.
Let's work the thing.
No, tell him the gift is marriage. Okay, marry
Marry
me.
You tripping?
Who said I'm tripping? I ain't tripping.
She talking about she known that man for. Let him go. Get out, like the movie said. Get out.
Don't tell her that.
7 years.
She's known him. She's known him for 27 years.
How long ago did he start contacting you? Because I'm still about to say, let him go and get out. It don't take all of that. It doesn't take all of that. You could have been married for 27 years, sitting here knowing one person for 27 years.
You take his butt to the courthouse.
He's not joking, people.
You take his butt to the courthouse, and you say you can get a certificate.
Together?
You can get you ain't got to have an engagement ring or nothing. Hold this.
No.
Hold this.
Oh, dear.
And then show him your hands. Show him your hands.
I can if I'm holding the phone.
Okay, now show him your hands.
I'll hold the other phone.
You hold them and show him your hands?
Yeah, I can do that and show
You see that? No rings. No rings. No dress.
No banquet hall.
No tuxedo. No banquet hall. No, nothing but two witnesses. Take his butt to the courthouse and sign them papers and get married. I ain't playing with these people.
I know, because you know what?
No, you too. If you don't marry the man, some of y'all too caught up in the world. You gotta have a white dress and all types of stuff like that.
I think we just. Can I tell you what people are getting caught up?
Go ahead.
People are just getting. 4 years ago, he was stationed in Afghanistan in the middle of a divorce. Okay. He slept on the floor of my home, blah 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 blah, taking me out and won't even try to kiss me.
You take good. You take him to the courthouse, right? Take him to the courthouse. Y'all get married, get a witness, get two witnesses, whatever, however it go in Maryland, and y'all can tongue each other all night long.
4 years. 4 years is enough time.
Yeah.
For him to know that he would like to spend his life. See, I think we've gotten away so much from the value of marriage that we just coast.
And if he's sleeping with you, if you're sleeping with him, tell him if he don't marry you, you're cutting his penis off.
Listen,
if you don't have,
she says that he's in Illinois and she's in Maryland. Okay, so you're going
you can still get married. You can fly down in Illinois or wherever he is and marry the man.
She said he loves you, but he's not in love with you. Thank you, and he's not willing to make a move.
You done got my cousin interacting,
I'm just
and
saying.
y'all in the same state. I'm not playing with you. If I got to come down to Maryland and raise hell, I will. Judy, you want to take a ride to Maryland? I
we
just
can
got my
go to
oil
Maryland.
change.
You know, it takes a minute.
Yeah,
Because I used to live in Maryland,
don't
so I don't
play
have a
with
problem.
me.
But the thing of it is that it doesn't take all of that.
Okay, she ain't never slept with him.
That's not even the point. Can I be honest with you? That is not even the point. My point is that 4 years is enough time to know whether he would like to make a commitment. And what we have got here is a generation, several generations of people who don't understand covenant and commitment. They do not understand lifetime bonds. They just understand coast, 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 coast. I've known you for 4 years. We got this little routine and rut that we do, and we just keep on doing it. I was there before I met Chuck. And that person was as happy as a clam to let things just continue to go, And I said, this is not my role. Well, baby, what's wrong? We good and long good. Everybody knows us the way we...
It ain't what God wanted.
It's not what God wanted. It wasn't even what I really wanted.
It wasn't what you wanted.
I know I was made to be a wife. And I was like, I'm going to be a wife.
With them
now, whether
yes, Lord have mercy.
In the mighty name of Jesus.
This morning, good God
All I know
Almighty,
is,
that was wife.
that was wifely duties. Yes, I know. People don't pay him any
Good Lord! You hear me?
We have neighbors. Do you remember that?
Oh, well, they need to get... Do you want to hear the conversation?
No, they don't. They don't want to hear the conversation.
Hey, neighbors.
All I'm trying to say is, people, we are passionate and serious about this thing, because it's not just about you got somebody and then they string you. You know you being strung. There's enough rope, and this person is not moving from the position they got. It's like when the airplane just circles around and never either goes to another destination or lands. We need to get out of this holding pattern that we're in. And it's like, but I'm going to tell you, ladies, set the expectation. Tell a bruh man, I'm not going to be here 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I mean, I talk about it sometimes too. I had a friend that gave 25 years.
If you do longer than 6 months without it going anywhere, you got a problem. I'll even say a year. I give you a year.
I give people a year.
Yeah,
I have a thing about a year.
But don't shack. And we're not talking about shacking.
We're not talking about shacking up.
And
we're also not talking about you dating and we all just dating. That dating thing.
If he want to live with you,
but the thing of it is after 6 months,
in 2 months.
If he don't know he want to be exclusive with you and he still want to see other people, your
Cut
friend zone, your friend. Thank you.
And that don't mean sleeping with him. Because I'm not going
to get my emotions.
If you call a man or if you call somebody your friend, that means they're your friend. That don't mean lay in the bed with them. It ain't no different. Not laying in the bed with them. They just
And let
friends.
me tell you something, ladies. There are some men out here who will get very comfortable with that holding pattern. I'll sleep on the floor. I'll never touch you. I just want to be by you. I just want to be near you. I will just. That's all I want. And I'm like, really? Don't think that there are women out here only dysfunctional. There are a lot of men out here dysfunctional where they just want to be close, but they don't want to be that close. They want to be with you, but not completely with you. There's a lot of dysfunction going on in these generations. And I'm sort of like, we are all about bringing back the value to, I dated you. I wanted to be exclusive with you, so I began to court you. And then I married you. And now we have this whole long life to have fun, to share, to talk, to learn things new about each other and with each other. But as long as I know inside your character is not about you going to get yours. Your character is modeled after Christ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Somebody even wrote up the other day about Boaz. Boaz is not the standard for a godly man. Christ is. Now, he wasn't wrong with the Christ is, but Boaz is okay. He's okay. If you got somebody, I'm like, geez, y'all want to knock the man.
Be dating anybody, so I don't understand.
Thank you. At least Boaz got married. Jesus
Boaz didn't. That wasn't no comparison.
You know what I'm saying? You want a godly man? Look at some people who got some marriage going on there.
I can't wait till I meet him. The day that I meet him visually, so I can say, Jesus, did you ever put your penis in somebody?
You know what? You will come up with some of these kind of crazy questions.
But I'm just saying, I want to know. The man's,
he's the kind of person who would say something like that.
No, I'm just saying, the man, Boaz probably, he was married, so I'm sure he got some
children. He made some children.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Jesus ain't had no children, so that ain't no comparison. So
that's the kind of thing that we're saying out here. Don't use Boaz as a godly standard. Only Jesus is. Okay, when you're talking about character, but as a person who actually got married, Boaz ain't bad. He
But
ain't
that's
bad.
somebody that's single and probably still a virgin. He probably
I don't know what he
25,
is.
26 years old, but he a virgin.
But all I'm saying is,
I'm just saying the boy ain't. I
you
don't know what he
about?
is, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
But I'm
I
just
know
saying,
exactly.
listen,
Daddy is a.
we're not gonna stay too
got
much
his
longer.
own reality show.
And
No, because this is a long conversation.
Yeah, you see how long it done went.
Good
and
God
I'm thankful
Almighty.
for all the people who hung out with us and all of these. Thank you, sweetheart.
Yeah, because I want to be your Boaz.
I'm not so crazy about being my face being
am I your Boaz?
Huh?
So crazy.
No, you're my crazy.
What you want licked?
What you want
licked? What you want licked?
Huh? Oh my God!
Oh, I'm just
Behave.
asking.
All I'm saying is, all I'm saying, people, is thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for putting up with him and his insanity.
No, but look, seriously, women, ladies, listen, stop, okay? Stop being materialistic. Stop looking at a man's status and circumstances. What
Go ahead. No, don't do it again, please.
Don't do
it. Go ahead.
If you ain't go, no, you want to play with me.
Finish talking
Stop
to the people.
looking at status and circumstances. Men, keep your penis in your pants. Now, if you need
Stop
help,
looking at that form and fashion.
keep your penis in your pants or play with yourself. If you got high sex drive, just play with yourself. And I'm telling you, it works. I'm live. My live experience.
No, can we end the people?
We was going to do that anyway. We're going to do a session on masturbating. No, because some people, it needs to be addressed. If you have a high self drive, sex drive, and you can't control yourself, play with yourself. Don't sit there and get in your feelings or anything like that and think that you have the urge to sleep with somebody, or just pray about it. Just pray heavy before you end up playing with yourself if you don't, agree with that or whatever. That's just my advice to you.
I thought you were saying the end. You were saying to the women to not be materialistic.
Well, that's materialistic.
To
keep the penis in their pants.
Penis in the pants and stop running after form and fashion, because you have to know what's going on the inside of that person. Allow God to still reign. I understand we're talking about, what I call natural things, but God intervenes through your faith into the natural. So please, the statistics and everything else, that 80-20 rule. Yeah, I got 80% of what I wanted, and the 20% is so small, it's not even. And when I feel like I need to. Yeah.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, not if you're going to lick my cheeks.
No, I'm kissing you. Keep talking.
I'm just trying to keep
literally. Talking, because that
Can I
really
tell you something? Me. Can I really tell you something?
80%. Go ahead, bud.
I cannot concentrate when you kiss me, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I lose all focus. Jude be thinking about something completely different.
Yeah, you just
want to.
Anyway, but you're on the red. You're on the red light.
That don't got nothing to do with my mind up here.
Like this morning.
Anyway, yeah.
No, but listen, seriously. You made a point, and that was really touching. That's why I kissed you. Because 20%, like that 20%, you're saying that you can deal with.
I can deal with that because of the character of the person. That 80% is huge. The 80% is huge,
so
and it has nothing to. The 80% is your loyalty, your sense of family, your generosity, your patience. You're one of the most patient people I know. Okay. You don't fly off the handle. You don't jump. Sometimes you jump to conclusions. That's a little part of that 20%. But it's mostly if he thinks that it's about him or his family. That's how protective he is of his family. Okay? Did I talk about your generosity? Did I talk about the fact that he will work his behind off, come in here half limping, and not even bark about, okay, I took a minute to get his dinner to. This man, to me, is exactly what I wanted to come home to. And so the 20%, which has to do with he want a fresh washcloth and a fresh towel every doggone time he take a shower, that's so little. That is so little compared to what we have going on. Well, God has blessed me through this man that we're able to travel. We're able to go. We've been named a power couple of the QC, that we're about to put on our first community event for in Greer Heights, and the lady is excited that we have moved into her community. She is excited for who we are, and I get a chance to be a part of that because of him. That's worth any 20% towel washcloth
Good Lord
nonsense.
Almighty! I didn't know these people on social media don't pay me any attention.
Well, they were sleeping on you. I don't care. That was my good luck. Thank you, Jesus, and thank all of you people who slept on it. It was my good luck because when I saw certain things, I snatched him up. Did you hear me? When I saw certain things, I snatched him up because I was like, whoa, it's very hard to find a man who will be that patient. It's hard to find a man who will deal. Again, remember, I was an older woman dealing with sometimes some disabling conditions. And when I saw the patience, I was like, he's going to deal with maybe when I have a not so great day. He ain't going to be like, oh, well, let me go out here and find 225 since you an old 50.
To be honest with you, let me say something. Let me say something.
Go ahead.
You know, I don't want to be arrogant, but seeing these women out here these days, you know, the way they present themselves and carry themselves, yeah, they're professional in corporate America, but when they get off work, it's the most sickening stuff I ever see in my life. I couldn't see myself, you know, with anybody outside of you. You know, even the women that I used to date, yeah, come on, girl. I get naked.
Finish.
No, but even the woman
we gotta say goodbye to these people.
Just wearing all this 1,000 pounds of makeup, wearing, just acting a certain type of way like they got it all together, but their attitude and their attitude just stinks. I mean, I would never and that's a part of patience too, because you're patient with me and I'm patient with you, because I would lose my patience with half of these foolish women out here that's over 40 years old, that's going to work, oh, I'm Miss Corporate America, and you this and you that, you ain't on my level, but go to the club and everybody calling you a B outside of your name. Everywhere you go around, they're calling you outside of your name, and you're drinking every drink. Why they calling you outside of your name, and then going home like you got it all together? I mean, so it's an embarrassment to me. It would be embarrassing, especially where I am now. Now, back then, you probably would have got away with it. But ever since I met Judy, God has shown me through Judy the way that a real woman should carry herself. And I've always been the type to people always call me different, and people saw so much, but they couldn't be with me because of who I am. And now I see why. Now I see why. Because it's so ignorant. And I'm sorry if you're turned off by what I say, but it's the truth. I don't think anybody is being turned off. Because some people get offended. But the way people are carrying themselves now is so ignorant. Now, can I say something about Single, Saved, and Serious?
Real quick, because I'm not ready to go eat some food.
Okay, I'm ready to eat myself, but you want to read about it. But listen, not seriously. But half of the people, I got free events now. Free events that's going on, you know, all over the city. Me and Ray was just talking about that. We throw free events. Some of y'all about to pay $60 or $100 to hear Jay-Z. You already knew the man was going to plan a tour, you know, for the 444 after he made the album. Yeah, he made the album. He's going on tour all over the world. Him and his team select the cities that they're going to. So they're going to the Spectrum Arena. They're going to Greensboro, I'm sure, because Greensboro has all the colleges surrounded, and they got Durham and Raleigh surrounded. They're going there. You're spending $100 or $200 to hear him curse you out or hear him talk about all types of money, but can't go to a free event that talks about God. I can't go to an event that's worth $5 to talk about God. So you think that I go out of, like what I see now, I don't know who I'd be capable of dating if anything was to happen to you. I don't see myself
Oh, don't say it
dating
like that.
again. No,
Well,
I'm just saying
I
because
know.
the ignorant, it'll be a 70 or 80-year-old woman. I'm gonna have to date somebody's great grandma
No, you're not
who
gonna
have to
have to.
be
It's
in a
not
do
an
a.
age thing.
No, it's
It is the inner.
ignorance.
It's the again.
Yeah, but you can't find nobody like you look around surrounded and the people that's 45
I
and
don't think
under
that
is
people just because
ridiculous. Even
listen.
the people in their 50s,
They're
and I
50s.
understand
That's
what
what
you're
I'm trying to
saying,
say. The
it's
person
ridiculous.
that I was trying to get to settle down was 60 years old, and they were trying to act like they still hip standing on the corner. So it is not an age thing. It literally is you're looking for an internal difference. You're looking for somebody. There are some 60-year-old people out here. There's some 50, 40s, and God knows the younger you get, the higher the number of them that don't have the mindset of there's a value to marriage. I'm saving some things for marriage. I'm saving myself for marriage. You don't have it. And so it is going to be hard to find. But what I'm telling people is, let's be real. Both of us have been there, done that with everything else, and it is just unsatisfactory.
And that's why God put us together in order to make this message, in order to
give this message to other people, because I know there's some other people out there tired like I was.
And
I was tired.
It's hard to be single.
I was tired.
It's hard. You got a bunch of confusion, and that's why I did Single, Saved, and Serious while I was single. That's why I created it while I was single, because, there's a lot of confusion out there. And I think women get confused when they're surrounded by confusion. Men too. When you're surrounded by confusion, you get confused. And when men want to be, they don't want to grow. Some men want to grow, but they're around
very
people.
Few. Because right now, can I tell you something? What they do with their confusion and that purpose? They say it's they put it all into I'm grinding, I'm hustling, I'm grinding, I'm hustling. And all of a sudden you got these workaholic men that don't even know how to come home and turn some of that stuff off and be just a man with a woman. They don't. They're just, I'm grinding 24/7. I'm out here grinding. You don't even hear them talk about they prayed first. They just get up and grind.
Yeah, they all talk
and I want to be a mogul. I want to be this. Wait a minute. And it's all about stacking paper.
They'll talk about God when they got money, or God gave me that. I heard a minister. Talking about God gave him a car. A minister now. He's supposed to be a minister at a church. Won't he do it? He got a Benz or something. Won't he do it? Fool.
Oh.
God didn't give you that. He allowed you to have that. He blessed you as far as allowing, but he just ain't throw that to you.
But if we're only going to worry about our material blessings
and you showing that on social media
and the different things,
cliquish,
the love and giver people, you missed a little bit, but we're back. My phone's acting up because it's getting a low battery. But we're going to go ahead and finish. I'm going to post this up to, especially when you've been, when you have standards and sticking to the standards. Everybody thinks my standards are too high.
They are. They are. I don't even know
what they are. I don't know what
they
are.
No, I know your standards are too high. When you have standards, stand them down or whatever you can do.
No, she may not be talking about that.
If they ain't spiritual standards, sit your butt down somewhere. If they ain't got nothing to do with God of what your standards are, sit your butt down and rethink what you need to do. If they got anything to do with physical or the presence of somebody, anything else can be worked out. If anything can be worked out spiritually, other things can be worked out as well. So, if they say your standards are too high, and I don't know what your standards are, it's obvious that your standards are too high. So,
she said there's spiritual ones.
Okay, well,
spiritual ones,
take them to the church and pray over them.
This is why I was talking to her about don't allow the natural to cloud your faith, because if your standards are spiritual ones, those are the ones you actually need to hold on to. It's very hard though. This world, including the people in the church, we make a big distinction between church people and Christians. The people in the church are being guided towards so much natural and physical and possessive level stuff. And so the spiritual, this is why we had to come on here about Boaz. We have gotten away from the spiritual, story about Boaz. We're focusing on his wealth. We're not focusing on him being actually an image of Christ being the near kinsman to redeem somebody back. We're not even talking about that anymore. I just don't get it. So the spiritual standards, and just believe that God's going to bless you for that. I'm sorry. I believe God. When I got to the point of really standing with my standards of this is what I want spiritually, and I believe God can bless me with everything else. That's what I went looking for. And go ahead and look up your fruits of the Spirit. Go ahead and look them up, because that's what I want you to look for. Okay? I believe there's 10 of them. Go look them up. And one of them is self-control. It might be at the end of the list, but one of them is self-control. And if you cannot find these people, just continue to pray that God will put some flesh on some dry bones and bring it back to you. Because this is what we're about. We're about creating spaces where people can be refreshed, can come off of this crazy merry-go-round that the world has them on. Sit down and just enjoy yourself. Be yourself. Have a good time. And you might actually begin to meet somebody you like. Not their representative. Not, because I got dressed up for a Jay-Z concert. Not all of that. But anyway, we're talking. We got some lunch and now almost dinner to get. But we thank you guys for coming. I am so excited. I didn't think this was going to be this popular, but I'm so excited. And if you want more, just let us know. You can either leave comments here, go to the Lover and Giver page, our individual pages. That's fine.
And we're always open. If you want to come to Grevtown in order to meet us, you can come straight to
Yeah, we have a community center that I'm just going to live in.
We got a community center. We're always available whenever. We're not strangers. We're not just social media people.
Nope.
So
this is really
if you're in Charlotte or surroundings, don't be afraid to reach out and meet us. We always throwing events. Come out to our events.
Out to our events.
We don't charge over $10, or a lot of times we throw free events.
Yeah.
Free events, period. So don't be afraid just to show your face. We ain't trying to break your bones and, charge you $40 or $50 just to get you drunk and, call you all types of names and, try to make you feel bad just because you limited on funds. You're going to celebrate in a godly way. But
not boring, okay? Don't think that our parties are boring.
Yeah, don't think
we do gospel karaoke. One of our band members might stick a mic underneath your mouth, and they always try to get me. Last time he asked me if I could rap, which he ought to know better.
That was Charles McMurray. That wasn't.
Oh, that was Charles that was trying to get. No, but we have fun, and we have great venues that allow us to just be ourselves, and that's what's important. It's not a godly fashion, so you think it's all hushed tones. This is fun for Christians, people who believe in God, but at the same time, I'm outside of the church. Where can I go and be supported? At our events. At our events if you're in the Charlotte
Just know that you're loved because we love you.
We love you, but God loves you more. Bye-bye.